She's the Mind Sculptor, walk through the door. My life's better than ever before. It's not just that I'm winning a ton. It's not just that Blue's back number one. It's not just that I'm having more fun. When I was having more fun than legally done. Jay changed my life in all the best ways. 5,000 friends and a massive pay raise.
Jace the Mind Sculptor, better than all. Jace the Mind Sculptor, better than all. Jace the Mind Sculptor, better than all. Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Michael J.
I'd ask how you're doing this week, but I think I know.
Gosh, come on. Whatever do you speak of?
I'm talking about a few years ago. I'd ask her, I think, myself, but she, I think she leaves the house when I do podcasts because it gets loud. But I think, didn't my wife call you and be like, are you okay the day that Jace the Mind Sculptor got banned in Standard? That's like a true story, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it was like, it's like seeing your child grow up. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, there's it's a little, when they're going off to college to make it on their own, it's like, but you got to just be happy for them. It's like, wow, good for you, Jace. Good for you. But no, I see they took it very seriously by not going to the Modern Pro Tour.
Yeah, you think maybe you might go to the next one? I'm just wondering.
I think I'll be able to work it out.
All right, so let me ask you a dumb question. I assume you own, a requisite number of copies of Jace the Mind Sculptor?
Yeah. I've got some Jace the Mind Sculptors.
Yeah, I figured. So I don't. So you make fun of me every time we talk about Modern because I like to play Burn all the time, but I wouldn't price these.
I don't make fun of you. You make fun of yourself. I just point a spotlight on the things you're saying and which things are true or not.
I'm historically in a narrow lane, let's say, in the Modern deck choices.
That's okay. Stay in your lane.
I want to get the hell out of this lane, man. When Jace was legal in Standard, every time I played Jace in a Standard deck, I just won the tournament. Why would I not go back to that model? That seems like a pretty good model to me.
Here's a combo for you. Jace, 0 ability, put back these Thunderous Blasts.
Don't.
The Miracle Deal 5?
Oh, you think I don't know what you were getting at? I kind of like that, but I think I probably like White Miracles more, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know, man. It seems like so much work to set up a Terminus. So you're saying that when you just have a Jace in play, and then you just 0 ability, that's the spot where you can finally, then you can get your Terminus active.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I was actually kind of just thinking, this card seems way better than a lot of the weird non-synergistic cards people are playing in blue-white control decks now. Here's this copy of this one, and here's this copy. And they're not even playing Gideon 3. They're playing, Gideon 4
yeah, they
or
are.
something.
No, Nassif had a Gideon 3 and a Gideon 5.
Yeah, I think Raph had, 2 Gideon 4s or something.
I don't even mind Gideon 5. I actually don't even mind Gideon 5.
Yeah, you can play Jace 4 now.
I'm saying in addition to the Jaces. Obviously, I'm going to start with the Jaces. I'm just saying that I don't think it's the worst to have a second, to have a backup kill. And I think that if you're only going to have one, I think Gideon 5 is actually not the worst one to go with.
I kind of don't hate the concept of unsummoning my Snapcaster Mage. That's a thing that I would do.
Yeah, I think a lot of decks are going to do that.
Yeah, I think that's the thing we do. So, anyway, in case anyone hasn't heard, Jace the Mind Sculptor will be legal.
And Bloodbraid Elf.
And Bloodbraid Elf will be legal in Modern for the first time, right? For Jace, he's never been legal in Modern.
Correct. Bloodbraid Elf has been legal.
Yeah,
but Jace the Mind Sculptor, better than you know.
I heard a rumor that he was better than all.
Yeah, it's not a rumor. But here's my question to you. Yeah. What's the first? What is the range of Jace decks? Where shall we begin? And just to be clear, I'm not. I'm more of a conscientious. I feel like I need to be recused of advising whether it's a good idea or a bad idea Because, like, well, it's true that Jace the Mind Sculptor is substantially better than half of the vintage restricted list. And in fact, is one of the, one of the absolute greatest cards of all time in the same league as things like Moxes and Time Walk. Like, it's, anyway, I don't know that I am in the most impartial position. So I've tried to remain neutral, an outside observer. And, it doesn't hurt that the entire time Jace the Mind Sculptor was legal, I was a little bit on a tear. My secret technology, I literally just played Jace all of the time.
I heard a rumor that Jace the Mind Sculptor walked through the door and then...
Dude, do not do this for all the lyrics to the hit indie nerdcore track by The Gathering, Jace the Mind Sculptor. It's just there's too many lyrics. So what I want to know is, where do you want to start with in terms of like breaking down if you want to start at the beginning of Jacing, where better to start than Grixis?
I agree. So the first, when I was saying, like, when Jace was legal in Standard, I was always Jacing in Grixis decks, right? So I qualified for Nationals in, I think, 2010 when he was legal in Standard, playing a Grixis control deck with a bunch of creature lands and Jace the Mind Sculptor and Lightning Bolt and
Sidraxis
Spectre and Blightning, right? So that was the angle I took and Counter Squall, of course, as you know. Those guys are all in Grixis colors. Now, I don't think that Sidraxis Spectre and Blightning are very likely to crack the rotation in modern Grixis.
Well, you've got actually analogs, though. So, like, Blightning, Blightning's not that far off, but why would you play it when you have Culligan's Command?
That's what I was going to say. Culligan's Command, same casting cost as Blightning, but it's an instant, and it's highly synergistic with cards like Snapcaster Mage that you might be playing already. I think it's a good setup guy for Jace also.
Other people playing with artifacts.
Yeah, maybe I might reverse this already. If the metagame shifts a lot and we have an expectation that Jace is going to be a big part of the new modern metagame, it's never been played in modern before. Is Blightning not a thing that might be good at fighting Jace, right? So Blightning lines up pretty well against Jace in terms of damage, no?
No, it doesn't. Nope, not the right way. 2 tempo negative. Like, so one of the things I like about Culligan's Command is that when they put Jace down and have to plus it because of your bolts, you can Culligan's Command plus bolt and not be down cards. Like, it's actually like a very efficient way to go after Jace, whereas Blightning isn't, because if they play a Jace and all you're trying to do is Blightning them, it's not like you're really getting them anyway, right? And then they get to discard the worst of their cards. Like, Culligan's Command just has so much more flexibility. Like, you can Culligan's Command and get back your Snapcaster Mage.
You can.
And surprise kill the Jace out of nowhere.
Oh, well, that's a very good way to do it.
Now, here's if you want to do 3 damage to a Jace, you got to surprise it. You can't just, because sometimes they're going to go to 5, right? But one of the things you can do when you have no threats on the table, no big deal, you can drop Vendilion Click and just get some people's Jaces that way.
Yeah, I mean, do you think people are going to be real apt to just go 0 on their first Jace activation, or do you think that's going to be a rookie play?
No, but why would you not use its best ability by far the most often?
No, I mean, just they play Jace, like maybe they play Jace on 4 and then go 0. It just seems super vulnerable to me if you do that.
What, are you generalizing the idea that people whether they should just Fate Seal, Brainstorm, or Unsummon as their starting play the most often? Here, spoiler, the answer is Brainstorm. As a person who's activated a lot of Jaces, in the dark, my guess is Brainstorm.
Okay.
But don't worry, there's a lot of things you could do. Of course, there's a lot of play to the card. Sometimes you're going to want to Fate Seal them. Sometimes you're going to want to Fate Seal yourself. Sometimes you're going to want to bounce something. Sometimes you're going to bounce your Snapcaster. There's like 27 different ways to play the card on turn 4. It's just that drop Jace and Brainstorm is the best ability and should be the bar that everything is like. That's the starting point. Anyway, I just don't think Blightning is in the same league as a lot of the options that you have available in.
I'm not saying Blightning is in the same league as Jace. I'm just saying I had good experience fighting Jace with Blightning back in the day.
Yeah, I know, but there's a lot of 3s. All right, maybe if you're playing some kind of a dedicated Bloodbraid Elf Jund deck, then maybe. But it's still weird because you have Kolaghan's Command and Thoughtseize and Inquisition of Kozilek.
Yeah, the number of different directions you can go with both of these cards is going to be really, really expansive, I think, because obviously there's more different lands than you can play than you could have ever played in Standard. There have been so many more sets that are going to be participating both before and after World Wake and Alara Block, right? Like there's just more stuff you can do than you could ever done in Standard, and I just think it's just too alien to compare to the previous Standard format. It's much more applicable, I think, to just compare to the current Modern format because there's like a dozen different strategies right off the bat that are going to be interested, and that's to say nothing of new archetypes that are possible as a result of this card. So I mean, the Grixis decks today already play a lot of permanents, right? So do you think?
No, there's a variety. So there's a couple different ways you can play Grixis, right? So there's the Corey. Corey style is like the perfect home for Jace. You should instantly play 3 or 4 Jaces in a deck like that. There is this question of how many do you want to play, but to start with, I feel pretty comfortable. First of all, cutting a Pia Noir for a Jace the Mind Sculptor, I think.
Same.
Yeah. And then
although
second
Jace
of all,
and Pia Noir are not the worst combo. So that's okay.
You've got to stop fantasizing about bouncing your own creatures. I promise you're going to want to Brainstorm. So the second thing is I think you can cut a second Tassiger for another Jace the Mind Sculptor. I think you might cut, I don't know, like Electro-Eyes or Cryptic Command. Just cut something else.
Oh, I don't think you want to cut a Cryptic Command out of the
maybe
Corey.
Search for Ascanta. I don't know.
The Corey version is going to want it still. I think it's I hate to be about branding or trademark, but like Kolaghan's Command, Cryptic Command, Jace, all his 4-ofs, I think is just a solid core for this deck. That
what does that have to do with branding?
Because he's like the 4 Cryptic Command, 4 Kolaghan Command guy. I said I don't want it to be about that, right? But I think that's actually, that's how the deck fits.
There's also the Death Shadow sort of angle. But I actually think that if you're going to put Jace the Mind Sculptor in a Death Shadow, at least the main deck, I think it works better in ones that have Traverse. Because I think Traverse's ability to actually get you up to 4 and to give you options of things like Snapcaster Traverse. It's not like that's some super awesome play, but it does make it a lot easier to play Jace the Mind Sculptor in a deck with like 20 land or 19 land or whatever.
I agree that Traverse Death Shadow is a much better home than, say, Grixis Death Shadow, but I'm a little skeptical about these guys working together at all. I mean, it seems like a lot of mana. I don't know.
No, I don't know, man. I don't know about you not knowing. I think Jace the Mind Sculptor in Death Shadow, it's going to be good. All right, here's one for you. Back to this Grixis deck. What do you think about more Dreadbore? Huh?
Oh.
Get it?
Yeah, I get it.
Dude, I actually think people should be playing Hero's Downfall more anyway. I'm going to love it. I'm going to love it when my opponent's like, okay, Jace plus, and then my Hero's Downfall. They're like, plus, I'll keep it. Hero's Downfall. Good job.
I mean, Dreadbore is such a... It's basically like a one-of main deck in the Mardu Pyromancer deck right now. But, it's got a whole new life, this card.
I always played that card in Grixis. Jerry Thompson's another Dreadbore guy. Hero's Downfall Dreadbore guy. But dude, I think it's time for all that. Here's some cards that change in value in exciting ways. Spell Queller. How sick is that?
It's good. I was thinking negate Spell Pierce, like kind of the fringe cards. Like Negate's like this weird one of that gets played as in blue white. Sometimes people are like, I'll play like 1 or 2 Spell Pierce. It's like so arbitrary how many they play. But I think those cards are just going to jump in value.
Dude, I'm saying that you can just play 4 Spell Queller's main deck. I think it was an underrated card to begin with.
Yeah.
And it has whole new life in this world where people are doing things like playing Jace the Mind Sculptor. So
I agree wholeheartedly.
Here's the Spell Queller Jace the Mind Sculptor deck I'm imagining. Wild Nacatl, Noble Hierarch, Tarmogoyf, Lightning Bolt, Path to Exile, Knight of the Reliquary, Spell Queller, Jace the Mind Sculptor, and then like a couple spells.
Yeah?
Dude, doesn't that deck sound sick?
It's like kind of like Raptors counter cat deck, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't thought about it. Like yeah.
Dude,
So
Knight of the Reliquary with Jace the Mind Sculptor is like a great combo.
Well, I mean,
Oh, Remand. Yeah, Wild Nacatl, Noble Hierarch, Remand, and Tarmogoyf. Lightning Bolt, Path, Knight of the Reliquary, Spell Queller, Jace the Mind Sculptor, and then maybe we'll get a sorcery in there or something.
why do you need a sorcery for?
I don't know, man.
So you just
There's
have
some-
like, what do you have like one red source of some kind just to trigger the Nacatls?
4 Lightning Bolts.
Yeah.
Cyborg Ancient Grudge.
Oh, we certainly do that. Yeah, this deck seems okay to me. I
Okay, if you're not into it, we got plenty of other Jace decks. Here's one
like,
for you.
It's like that deck that you're describing has had literally no standing in Modern for forever. I mean, is the presence of Jace suddenly make that archetype so much better versus other archetypes that could take advantage of Jace or Bloodbraid Elf? That's the question I'd have.
Same deck, but also use Bloodbraid Elf.
Love it. In.
Actually, so here's the Bloodbraid Elf deck. If you want to, so Temur, picture this. If you're playing Temur, not only can you play Jace the Mind Sculptor and Bloodbraid Elf, but you can also play Ancestral Visions and put the visions back with Jace so that your Bloodbraid Elf does it.
Oh man, you could like brainstorm the visions second from the top, right? Draw a card
Right.
for turn, bounce your own Bloodbraid Elf, and then cast the
Yeah.
Bloodbraid Elf, and then visions.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Okay, here's
I
some more.
if these decks are good, like Modern will be so different than Modern is right now. There's no decks that have this planned interplay right now. Like they're like, oh, what I'm gonna do is get to turn 5 and then make it so that we play another 5 more turns at least. Like that's nobody's game plan right now.
Here's another one for you. Courser of Crufix for the Steamer deck of ours.
Oh.
Dude, Courser of Crufix with Jace the Mind Sculptor?
Yeah, it's insane, obviously. Like all
So
you
it's
need
like-
with
so
either of those
finally-
cards is a way to change your top card of your library, and it's insane, right? Like
Well, that,
the other one
honestly,
becomes
it's
insane.
honestly it can be insane if you play at random. But like Courser, so it's like finally there's a synergy so that if your 3 casting cost creature with a profound card advantage ability lives through the turn, and then after you untap, you drop your 4 casting cost Planeswalker that happens to be the best card ever, and then you keep going. From there, now finally you get more than the sum of the parts.
Wait,
I actually do think it's a good combo, though.
basically you have a card in Courser of Crufix, which is an outstanding blocker, right? It
Yep.
also generates a ton of life.
Which is great.
And it's a card advantage engine, like you said.
It's
Combined
great with fetch lands for extra life also. But
extra life with fetch lands. It's insane, I think, in a bunch of different ways. But if you look at, there's that 5th line of text on Jace. Now, people think there's only 4 lines of text on Jace. So there's the 5th line, which is that if you can defend this and untap with it, your opponent is doomed, right? So if you preemptively stick an amazing blocker that also just elongates the game by giving you more life in front of Jace, that just seems like an unbelievable combo to me, right? Like, they're just two excellent. Those 2 cards obviously are friends, right? They're like, oh, we both generate card advantage, we both defend well, we're both been centerpiece decks to massive tournament wins, both of them.
Dude, what about Lotus Cobra to accelerate out your Jace the Mind Sculptor or Bloodbraid Elf?
Oh, wow. Now
Sweet with a lot of the core serve graphic stuff, too.
Oh, yeah, I love it. You know, just third turn Jace with counterspell backup, right? If you play a second turn Lotus Cobra and then play a fetch land, you have a mana there, then you can go 2, 3. Do you not have counterspell backup on that one? If you play one fetch land with a Lotus Cobra? No, you just play the Jace, right?
Well, you can protect it with Spell Pierce if you really wanted to. Or Dispel.
What's the sequence?
Right, like, aren't you just... So, if you play a fetch land on turn 3, you have 5 mana.
Break it, then you get another mana. And then tap the other 2, leave up you. Oh, yeah. You get it. You have counterspell backup.
Of course. That's the oldest trick in the book.
Yeah. It's just been a while. I'm not.
Okay.
I think that's probably going to be awesome. I always thought Lotus Cobra was super underrated. I always thought it was like one of the best 2-drops ever.
Here's one for you. Thought Scour.
I mean, again, ability to adjust the top cards of your library are incredibly valuable with Jace.
It's also just nice in a world where other people Jace sometimes that they go, you can keep it, and then you can get out of it.
I think that this is really interesting because the archetypes have not been established at all yet for post-unbannings modern, but we're really talking about a meta game. You know, people talk about this concept of the meta game in this kind of loosey-goosey way, but we're actually talking about how will we build and plan in anticipation for the ways that other people build and plan, right? Like it's... You know, especially how are they tactically going to use Jace? How many, you know, how reliant are they going to be on Jace? What cards can I possibly play that are very good already, synergistic with my own cards that can potentially be great against their Jace? Love it.
The thing I love are the people who say Jace won't even be good.
What?
They're like, oh yeah, it won't be good. You'll tap out, and the combo deck will kill you.
Isn't it played in Vintage?
Yeah, it's like the best kill card in Vintage.
Are they not aware that it's just played in Legacy, which is basically modern, but with like the combo decks that force the will to cover themselves?
All right, here's
I think those
another.
People are wrong, personally.
Yeah, here's another possibility for you, man. Here's another possibility for you. What about playing Jace the Mind Sculptor with Blood Moon?
I like it, but I would have liked it even more if you had said Bloodbraid Elf with Blood Moon.
Well, no, but hold on.
Yeah.
You see, like when you Blood Moon, you can drop Jace and bounce the guy they had left.
Oh, and then they're just...
And they can't replay it.
They're just like bonanza'd, right? That's
yes. Yeah, you don't normally just get to pick up bounce for free. It has extra meaning with Blood Moon.
All right, in love.
That's cool, right?
All of these Jace ideas are all awesome. Like, I don't even like your Bant Zoo idea, but it's probably good, right? I think your Temur Zoo idea you had was great. Like, didn't you have a deck once that was like Jace, Bloodbraid Elf, Cryptic Command? That's probably too many fours.
It's a little bit of a lot of fours for vintage or for modern,
but it was gas.
Sorry, I'm thinking of vintage since obviously Jace the Mind Sculptor would never be legal in modern. But you know, card I think it's going to be sweet with Bloodbraid Elf. I just think this card's underrated anyway and should be played like tons until it gets banned. Is Manamorphose, dude? Bloodbraid Elf with Manamorphose is sick. You see, like, sometimes you Bloodbraid Elf, and then you flip Manamorphose, and then you get to just play the Tarmogoyf in your hand, and you already drew a card.
Yeah, that sounds great to me. It's always weird to me how Manamorphose isn't more heavily played. Like, why is it only played in, like, Storm combo decks? Like, it seems like it just makes almost any deck that can tap those colors better.
It's like Jerry. So it's like at the last Modern event.
Yeah, he played one, I know.
And, like Raptor actually played 3 in his Death Shadow deck, and his only regret was that he let people talk him into playing 3 instead of 4. It's funny because like Raptor and Jerry came up with Manamorphose separate, looked at each other, and then it was like, oh, I guess we both together we had it figured out. But no, I think you just play 4 Manamorphose in every. So like.
Well, you don't play it in Burn, right? It's very poor in Burn.
I think Burn is not a real deck. Out of decks that are real, there are 2 types of decks that should play with Manamorphose. Decks that have Blood Moon in their 75, or decks that may ever face anybody else who has Blood Moon in their 75. Those are the two decks that should be playing Manamorphose.
Well, that covers all the decks, Patrick. There's no decks that don't fall into one of those two categories. Or both, actually.
No, because if you're playing a burn deck, your opponent's not going to play Blood Moon.
Oh, I mean, I've played against the Mardu Pyromancer deck in paper tournaments all the time. They Blood Moon you. I sided all my white cards against them. I mean, that's an easy matchup, though. But
I'm just saying that Manamorphose, if you're thinking of a different card besides Jace the Mind Sculptor, Manamorphose is probably better than it.
yeah.
Okay, here's another card for you with Jace the Mind Sculptor. Platinum Imperium.
I mean, I love
see-
the Mind Sculptor against Platinum Imperium. That's
Yeah, of course.
to me.
But what if you accidentally, you're playing a Madcap deck,
Yep.
and then you draw the Platinum Imperium? You can just put it back.
Yeah.
It even resets the top of your deck, so you don't have to draw it.
Yeah. Seems great. I mean, it would even be good in like those weird situations where you might actually be worried about how many cards you're flipping over with Madcap. Is there a situation that actually happens like that?
Not if you play with Platinum Imperium.
Not if you constructed your deck correctly.
No, I mean, you might sideboard Platinum Angel or something. I don't know. Yeah, okay, you're not into that one. No problem.
I think it's fine.
Okay, how about this? Jace the Mind Sculptor with Spell Stutter Sprite, Vendilion Click, and Mutavault. Package deal.
So, some sort of a fairies flavored shell.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's obviously different than the fairies flavored shells we've had before because, you know, they typically play at instant speed after turn 2. But
All right. Here's one.
I'm not saying no. I think it's okay.
Okay. Jace the Mind Sculptor in a deck with 4 Spreading Seas.
You know where I stand on this already.
Dude, if you can like take them off their colors, like first of all, if they're playing one of these Death Shadow decks, they might only have like 5 land in their deck that even make mana. And then you just like Spreading Seas them and then bounce the Death Shadow or whatever.
Yeah. Yes, you can do that. Like these I think that either Jace and Bloodbraid Elf are not going to be good, which I don't think is very likely, or the format will look very different than the format we've seen the last 2.
What are you talking about? Okay, first of all, how could they not be good? They are actively great in decks that already exist exactly as is. The format doesn't even have to change for them to be good.
I don't think that's likely. I said either that's the case or the format will change radically to accommodate these cards. I'm saying I don't think that's very likely. It's possible
that the format that these cards won't be good.
I said I don't think it's very likely.
Okay, people literally play Jund right now.
Yes.
Do you think that Huntmaster of the Fells or Olivia Voldaren are comparable to Bloodbraid Elf?
No. In fact, I would say people play red-green like ramp or red-green land destruction right now. I can't imagine a better card than Bloodbraid Elf in the shells that they're already playing, right? That he spits out a Blood Moon or a Blood Sun or a Molten Rain.
What if they're playing
those decks?
Well, yeah, what if they're playing some kind of escape shift Valakut deck or whatever, and then their deck just has 4 Bloodbraid Elves, it ramps them, but also it's just an amazing threat.
Yeah, it would be good in that deck also.
Okay, how about this? Nassif did really well with his blue-white deck. Do you think that it's possible that Jace the Mind Sculptor might fit into this instead of Jace Architect of Thought?
I don't know, Patrick. Jace Architect of Thought can go very wide.
All right, dude. What about Jace the Mind Sculptor in Lantern? It's even on plan.
Oh my gosh, it is on plan. It actually accomplishes much of what Ensnaring Bridge does, as well as much of what Lantern does.
Yes, it's actually totally on plan.
That is disgusting, and you should have never said it, because otherwise no one would have thought about it. Thanks for ruining the next year of Magic.
Now, I got a feeling that people are going to be thinking about Lantern after the last PT.
Yeah? All right. Yeah, I think that it's a... They already could tap for blue, right? Because they've got Whir of Invention.
They have Whir of Invention! Yeah. That ship has sailed!
Yeah, I think that this is unfortunately probably pretty good also. It actually gives them a legitimate source of card advantage also.
Oh, yeah.
The thing about Lantern is, like, you just put your material down and you hope that you have enough milling things relative to how good the top of their deck is. But you can't really get around all the stuff somebody would do because it's a fairly tenuous lock, right? When it's on, it looks fantastic, but any straying from that whole one card a turn paradigm can potentially mess with Lantern's game plan.
All right, here's one for you. Lingering Souls, particularly in builds with Thought Scour.
So
shout out to Tom Martell.
That's the first place my head went. So Tom Martell, he kind of, before he was a Pro Tour champion, he was a Grand Prix champion, and he drew the line in the sand with that blue-white Jace the Mind Sculptor control deck with Splashing Black for Lingering Souls way back when, beating, was it Temur in the finals of that Grand Prix? I think that's going to be one of the first places people go with Jace. Very light splash of black for Lingering Souls, and it's probably going to be awesome. This would be like,
what about Fatal Push? You don't like Fatal Push?
I don't think it's. I do like Fatal Push.
You just don't like that much black mana.
Yeah, it's more along those lines. You have other options, right? You've got Pad to Exile and probably White Sweepers. So I think you're less in need of a Fatal Push, like especially if you're trying to defend yourself kind of on cue, right? Like against red, fast beaters or Wild Nakados or whatever. You don't have your black mana on demand on turn 1 or 2 very often, and versus just having a plains or something to blast their guy and buy some time, right? Because you want your black mana after you've kind of already established your game a little bit. Like, you don't want to take 3 on turn 1 so you can Fatal Push, right? So that's not really the direction that deck wants to go, I think.
Nah, I think you're right. All right, here's one for you. Dude, Jace the Mind Sculptor and Liliana of the Veil. If you just play turn 3 Liliana, turn 4 Jace the Mind Sculptor. We
are in some uncharted territory now. Wow, this is a whole new world. Are you talking black-blue control, Grixis, Esper? What are we talking about here?
All kinds of stuff. What about awesome. Salt? It could be Grixis, it could be Sultai, it could be straight blue-black.
It's not going to be Sultai. No way.
Why?
Nah.
Dude, Maelstrom Pulse?
These cards are too good. No.
All you have to do, because, if you just splash Tarmogoyf and Maelstrom Pulse, maybe Abrupt Decay. But if you splash Maelstrom Pulse, and you get such a great angle. And if you splash Tarmogoyf, you get such a big board presence. And then you get to sideboard stuff like Artifact Enchantment removal.
Sultai?
You don't like Sultai?
I don't see it. I'm telling you, I think Liliana is a classy lady. Jace is taking her out of the town. They are. You're
just gonna want Liliana, Jace, Lingering Souls.
They are driving around.
Dude, it could be blue-black splash Lingering Souls.
I think that's possible. I think they.
Dude, and Stony Silence.
Oh, see, there is a deck, man. They could be driving around in the Cryptic Command mobile, right? They're like, only, truffle covered everything for this combo of planeswalkers. No monsters. No. I'm 5'6" for 2. No, not interested. This is a classy couple we're talking about. But I think they could easily go Grixis. I think that's probably insane. Like, just mad card advantage. Mad. Here's my awesome permanent. If you either answer it or if you let me untap with it, you're going to be in massive trouble. I think that's going to be a deck. I like it a lot. I think it sounds like it would be great with Snapcaster Mage. Sounds like it'd be great with Cryptic Command. So I'm just less inclined to go another color if that color is green.
Okay, here's one for you to think through, and make sure to think through. It might not be on first blush, but just think about it. Search for Azcanta.
I'm in. I have to think very hard. It changes the top card of your library. Anything that changes the top card of your library, I am so in. Like, it sounds fantastic. Blood Sun, I think that some of these things would go with. I love the Liliana Jace Lingering Souls idea. Like, because Liliana pitching Lingering Souls, it's fantastic. You don't even just get your white. It's
Yep.
it's just fantastic.
Thought scour your lingering souls off the top of your deck when you put it back with Jace.
Yeah, all those things. That is the thing is like if you set up your opponent and you have that board and you're like, you know, either use Liliana, maybe use Liliana as a plus, but you know, like lightning bolts or fatal push.
You even have collective brutality now if you want it.
Yeah. So I was at FNM last Friday.
Go on.
This is a great story. Landy Ho and I played FNM. We both went 2-1, so it was a humiliating night for win percentage. But he comes up to me, and because he told me earlier in the night that he bought like a whole extra set of collective brutalities because he thought he gave all of his collective brutalities to his brother Tony, right? You know, Tony Ho.
Yep.
Katie Ho. But he actually never did, so he just has like 9 collective brutalities or whatever, right? So that's what we were talking about, because I guess they're like 30 or something now. And he, you know, we play, and he's just like, Mike, they got collective brutalities in the case. They were for a good price. And I don't know how many I owned. I think I owned some non-zero number, but I bought a play set. That's an exciting story, huh?
Okay.
There's no punchline. There's no punchline. That was it. I have collective brutalities for this deck. Is the
related
punchline.
Field of Ruin, man.
But I mean, at some point with all these Lilianas and Field of Ruins, I'm gonna want to play Crucible of Worlds, Patrick. I'm gonna want it.
Dude, Crucible of Worlds is good with all the fetch lands and Jace.
And
always fresh slips.
Liliana, right?
All that, yeah, sure.
Liliana, Crucible of Worlds. I think somebody has to do it first. So
okay, here's one for you: Oath of Ajani. And maybe Oath of Nissa.
No way.
No way.
No, I mean, I think that if you're going the Liliana Jace route, your cards are better than their cards. You don't want to mess with your mana. You got to get your stuff out consistently. If you're this, I don't like this whole stretch my mana so I can do crazier stuff than is expected. That's not not in.
How about this? Squadron Hawk.
Could be in. Could be.
That was a very they're quite the caveat.
I mean, we can go Lingering Souls is just better than Squadron Hawk, right? And then Squadron Hawk is great when he's carrying a sword, but we go swords. I mean, I guess I don't know. We can play Lingering Souls and Squadron Hawk, and that's kind of the 8-pack. But one of those doesn't go get you a sword. That's the thing. I'm just not that interested in a bunch of 1/1s. Are you?
I don't know what I'm interested in.
I mean, the
besides Jace,
the pair that you have set up, I am so in. I think you throw a fatal push at the end of their turn or a lightning bolt, and then you just go Liliana, boom, Jace. They're just in lockdown now. If they don't have haste creatures, they're just done. So and you just grind them away for the next however many turns. You get a small advantage. Eventually, they're just eating Cryptic Command after Cryptic Command. That's exactly the situation you want to be in. Jace and Liliana working at the same time. Brainstorm plus discard? Oh, my gosh. Has anyone ever done this before? Not in Modern, right? It's impossible. It's never been legal. This is too good. Too good, Patrick.
All right. Jace the Mind Sculptor with Merfolk.
No way.
Why not?
Because there's Merfolk in the equation.
Dude, you've got Spreading Seas. Dude, you could be getting even more tempo. You could, go get rid of Aether Vials that you don't need later in the game.
Merfolk's theme is it's a stompy deck that's just got shined up.
Bounce their guy.
Yeah, no way. No,
you don't buy it?
No.
Jace the Mind Sculptor in Scape Shift.
Maybe not.
No, the Cryptic Command version.
Oh, yeah, in.
Right?
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's almost obviously because I remember there was that whole phase that I was going through where it's just let's just play 4 of all the best cards, and we were Spreading Seas, Jace, Primeval Titan. I think that could be a thing with some mana acceleration. You want to escape shift? You want to do something big, right? Whatever the thing is at the end, doesn't matter. All your cards are just building these huge advantages. I think we would be remiss in not talking about the other unbanned 4-drop a little bit more.
Okay, but just one last Dark Confidant! with Jace.
That's the classic, right? That's what put Jace on. Well, that's kind of what put Jerry and Jace together on the map, right? When Jerry won with his Dark Depths deck, because Dark Confidant and Jace together, that was
Jerry was on the map an awful hard long before that.
No, I mean, yes, he was like, people knew who he was, but I think that was just like, that's when he was just like, I'm one of the best, you know. Like he went from I make some decks, some of them are really good, to yo, you can't look away. That's when it was for me. I thought.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess I've been a fan of it. I was a fan of his early work. You know, back when it was on vinyl, his deck lists were just pressed. But yeah, so Bloodbraid Elf. So what do you think of Bloodbraid Elf in some sort of a Jund style deck for a change?
We were talking about Lingering Souls. The first place my head goes to is Jund style deck with Lingering Souls, where basically every single card in your deck, instead of playing these Hunt Masters or whatever, you know, gooberish wannabes people put into their Junders, like every single one is just top flight advantage builder, other than Lightning Bolt, right? So
you're not. But what about Thoughtseize Inquisition of Kozilek?
Yeah, I guess you need those to buy time, and I guess you need Tarmogoyf, but everything after the Tarmogoyf is just a top flight advantage builder.
Speaking of Thoughtseize Inquisition, I think they're going to be a big part of the Jace the Mind Sculptor plan, because I think you really want to clear the way, know is it safe to tap out. You know, it's just such a high leverage thing.
Do you remember we were talking about, you know, which if you're going to play 7, which one you're going to play 3 of? I think that Thoughtseize is going to take the 4 of slot at a higher level of consistency, because Inquisition can't take these guys, these insane forecasting cost cards that they've reinjected into the format.
I was already cooling on Abrupt Decay versus Maelstrom Pulse, but this is even more reason to, you know, like instead of playing 4 Abrupt Decays, to play like 2 Abrupt Decay and 2 Maelstrom Pulse.
I think that there is going to be a pronounced change in speed of the format. It's going to go from these like ballistic aggro decks and all in combo decks into at least a big chunk of the format is going to be, let's play 12 turns, right? Let's all build our mana bases up, see what we can do in the mid game.
If you're playing Merfolk, you can use the Explorer to reset the top of your deck. Like you can do a Merfolk Branchwalker with Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Why are we talking about Merfolk?
Okay, so
it's the
Bloodbraid Elf. Okay, so Bloodbraid Elf is an elf. Is there any chance that Bloodbraid Elf is going to be enough reason for actual... You know these elf decks that are like mostly aggro, that are only like combo adjacent with like Azuri?
No, I don't think that's the direction.
You don't think that like the Collected Company decks, you don't think they're going to want Bloodbraid Elf?
Collected Company into... No, I don't think so.
No, but like isn't Collected Company the stuff you want, the same stuff Bloodbraid Elf wants?
I think Bloodbraid Elf is about getting an explosive advantage now, and that Collected Company is either about building a progressive advantage or putting together a specific set of cards. I think it's like just one of those two things. Like either
I don't know, man.
Now
in the elf deck, you just do it.
Just to get
Bloodbraid Elf's even an elf.
What's the name of that black elf that's 3/2? It nugs them for as many elves as you've got. What's the name?
You can play that one too if you want. That's a great get.
It's a great get with Bloodbraid Elf. That's the thing.
Yeah, it doesn't do the 1 extra damage.
No, it's still fine. Every other thing in your board is an elf. Your Chameleon Colossus is an elf. Someone summons Chameleon Colossus against me at the Invitational in the elf deck.
Dude, what if you played with Bloodbraid Elf in your Hypergenesis deck?
Why would I do that? Oh, it gets Hypergenesis.
Or it gets a Cascade card that gets Hypergenesis.
Okay, I love this now. First I was like, why would I want to Hypergenesis this out? No, it's the other direction. Oh,
yeah, I think you're often going to want to lead with the Bloodbraid Elf before the Hypergenesis, but...
Yeah, no, I understand.
The Hypergenesis can resolve first.
Yes, I can see that. I'm going to throw out some red...
Hypergenesis isn't legal, though, dude. I'm just saying.
Oh.
The no... Well, no, it matters. There's no ban modern. It's coming up, man. The SCG no ban modern.
All right, so
there's 2 less cards to not be banned.
I'm gonna throw out some enchantments that are red. You tell me what you think, how they do with Bloodbraid Elf. What about Blood Moon? How do you think that guy works with Bloodbraid Elf?
Very well.
I agree.
Very positive for Bloodbraid Elf.
I think those guys are going to get along real well. How about Blood Sun?
Yeah.
Soft on Blood Sun. I think this
It's okay.
I think Blood Sun might come out because of this.
Maybe.
Soft on Blood Sun. Okay. How
No,
about,
it's fine. I just,
how
I'm
about
sure
this
it's
one?
I'm sure it's nice.
How about Seismic Assault?
It's okay. It's okay.
Can we get the band back together? Seismic Assault, Swans of Bryn Argol, Bloodbraid Elf.
Dude, they've got some new stuff like the Gitrog monster.
What about Jace in that deck?
I don't think it's as good.
Say again?
I don't think it's as good.
You don't want to play Jace in that deck. You just want to be just super pure.
No, I just don't think Jace is. I think Swans of Bryn Argol. I just don't know if we can afford to play 12 4-drops in this format.
Well, you don't play any cards other than Seismic Assault, right? Like, so it's a. But I mean, the whole thing is if you untap Alive on turn 4, you kill them, right? That's the plan. But I guess that doesn't really happen if you're using Bloodbraid Elf.
I don't know, man. Yeah, it was always turn 5 in Standard, and it wasn't good. All right,
And now it'll be playing against Mad Thoughtseizes and Jace the Mind Sculptors, right? So it's probably not very good for them. Okay.
But Bloodbraid Elf is a quality card. What do you think about Bloodbraid Elf with Living End?
I can see it. It's fine, right?
Wait, only fine?
I mean, it's like a good trigger, right? But they don't even play the maximum number of things that they could set Living End up with, do they?
No, but like it's really good. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a forecasting cost Living End, but like it's also a 3/2 haste creature.
Yeah, I think the haste
and it makes you draw your. And you can just draw Blood Moons or Fulminator Mages like crazy, too. If you want, like, after sideboarding.
I can see that.
Dude, I think Bloodbraid Elf is just, like, really good.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. But what I will do is say, look, what is it, Tuesday? We throughout this extra episode, a bunch of people came out to us on Twitter and other social media, and they were like, "Hey, you gotta do something extra because of Jace the Mind Sculptor and Bloodbraid Elf being unbanned." So here's an extra episode we're throwing out this week. But we're gonna break, and we're gonna come back on Thursday. What do you think about that, Patrick?
I'll be here. Join us back then, and maybe the ranting will continue. Maybe we'll have to see what happens in a couple days. But I got a feeling that we've got a couple more than just a couple days worth of Jacing and I guess Bloodbraid Elfing to do. So join us then.
We'll be back here on Thursday. In the meantime, check us out. Top Level Podcast, all the places. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Patreon. Shout out to Carl Vargas, who was the first person to tell me from Patreon that this had happened. So, modern, all in caps. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thanks, Carl.
All right.
Thanks for the good word.
All right. See you soon.
See you then.